Hey everyone, Larry Chen here. It's a couple days before the SEMA show, but I wanted to walk you guys through my 2020 SEMA build. This year, I built a Toyota GR86 daily drifter. The idea behind this project was to build something that's more relatable versus the formal drift cars. Finally, Toyota has come out with a chassis that's almost drift ready out of the box, and honestly, it's a good price point for a casual drifter, casual track driver. I will be doing a way more in-depth series after the SEMA show. I'll pretty much talk about all the parts and all the things that we've done to the car in detail. But now I figured, you know what, let's add all the prices up so you guys can see how much this sort of build potentially could cost. Full disclosure, I did pay for some of the parts, and of course, a lot of the parts were sponsored for this project. On top of that, I paid for most of the labor. Some of the labor was donated, and I definitely appreciate that. So let's just get to it. We're going to go ahead and start on the outside of the car. Let's start with the HKS side skirts. They are $2,000. We got the HKS rear valence kit on. That's $1,500. Next up, we have a very beautiful piece that is the HKS front lip. That's $1,600. Rounding out the aero bits, we have the HKS ducktail. That's $1,600. And the HKS rear wing, which is very functional. That's $3,200. I run Sabon carbon fiber hoods on most of my project vehicles, and this one is a OEM style, and the fitment is actually perfect all the way through. And it was $1,320. My really good friend Gino at Vaderwerks did the wrap, and this actually matches my A90 Supra wrap. And this was just a play on the Toyota racing livery that I've seen on their Supra GT race cars. This wrap and the design was $2,500. One of my biggest supporters, as you can see blaring on the video this whole time, is the Type S LED Lights Pro Kit. That's $330. You can get that at any AutoZone. These tow hooks are so cool. They're actually made by Racing in America. This one actually comes with a GoPro mount. How cool is that? Very solid. It matches the car. We have front and rear ones. Together, they were $515. Next up, we're under the engine bay, and there's quite a few goodies right here. We have the really main feature of this build, I feel like, is the HKS supercharger. That's $5,000. This one is the first one in the US. This and the other GR86 that's going to be in the HKS booth will be the only ones at the SEMA show that have a supercharger. For cooling, we got a CSF radiator. We run CSF aluminum radiators pretty much in all of our project cars. That's $400. For the silicone coolant hoses and heater hoses, we always go with HPS. That's $200 for this kit. With all of this fancy stuff and all this power, it's really important to protect it. The title sponsor for this build was Pennzoil, and they've been such a big supporter of mine, all the projects that we do. They just love cars and car culture. With the K&N oil filter and the Pennzoil Ultra Platinum Full Synthetic 0W20, it comes out to $50. The K&N drop-in filter is $65. You guys are probably wondering, why am I not running a K&N or AEM setup? Well, it's because for now, the HKS supercharger only works with the stock airbox. There's a couple of weight savings bits on this project, and the anti-gravity battery, of course, is one of them. We lost more than half the weight. It's more than double the cranking amps and capacity. That comes to $750. This also has a really neat feature where you can restart it. Let's say if you left the lights on or there's some kind of draw, for whatever reason, it's dead. You just push this button and then you can restart the vehicle. One really fancy piece that we have on this vehicle is the GR brace. This actually is a prototype, And there's no price for it, but my best guess, just seeing what the market is and what other pieces sell for, I'm guessing it'll be about $350, give or take. One piece that you can't really see unless you get underneath the car is the MagnaFlow exhaust. And this is the Neo series. This is fully stainless steel, and also they use V-band clamps, which is super fancy. It sounds amazing. Actually, it's very quiet for the performance. And this kit costs $2,000. The last two pieces in the engine bay are actually just for dress up, but they look absolutely amazing. We have the HKS fully dry carbon engine cover and also their fuse box cover that just touch up the engine bay that much more, and it looks amazing. Those together are $510. Now let's move on to the interior. The main feature I feel like with the interior is the Studio RSR 4-point roll bar. This is the chromoly version, and this is their second version. That's $2,500. They also make these really cool harness retainers. Instead of having to zip tie all that extra slack, these actually clamp on to the roll bar and it takes up all the slack. These are $160. It's pretty dangerous to drive on the street without an airbag, so I also wanted to change the steering wheel to something fancy. So Vivid Racing, they have a program called VR Bespoke, and they make awesome OEM custom steering wheels. This has a very cool feature. It's the TRD colors stitching. It's yellow, orange, and red. There's a stripe for top dead center, and the perforated leather is super nice, very premium. This steering wheel is $750. For the hydraulic e-brake setup, we went with a Chase Bays, and part of it is because I think it looks pretty OEM, and I honestly feel like it belongs in this interior, but I just wanted something that is a little more subtle, and this one was $230. To get all the ABS delete stuff to work and the hydro to work, because we did an inline setup this time, it's not a separate caliper. We had to get the ABS delete kit from Parts Shop Max. That's $100. These fancy seats that I'm sitting in are the Sparco Evos, and these were $1,600. The belts are super comfortable also. They're very wide, and they're 6 points, which really hold you in very well. Those are $500. In terms of like super JDM fancy stuff, we actually got HKS floor mats. This car surprisingly didn't come with floor mats, so I was very, very appreciative when HKS told us they actually made floor mats for the GR86 left-hand drive version. These are $200. Of course, when you're going to the track, it's all about safety first, and we run Element fire extinguishers in all of our project cars. This fire extinguisher mounts perfectly to the cage, and with the mount and the extinguisher, it's $140. So now I have this on my Benpack lift because I wanted to show you guys underneath the car. We'll start off with the ST suspension coilovers. They're the XTA Plus 3s. These are the fanciest ones that they make. The crazy thing is they all have my name on them. These coilovers are $3,239. We have all the SPL arms. They pretty much sent us their entire catalog, which I'm really excited about. So we have the rear control arm, the traction rod, and also the tow arm. And of course the front, we have the control arm. It's adjustable in every single way. We also have SPL parts sway bar end links, and that's really important because when we actually lowered it on the ST suspension for the first time, the stock end links didn't fit anymore because they weren't adjustable. So we have front and rear ones. SPL also sent us rear subframe bushings, but because we're so close to the show, we just have not had a chance to put them in, but we will put them in, I guarantee you, as soon as we get it back from SEMA. All of this together was $4,402. Back up on the front suspension, Because this is a drift car and it actually needs angle, we have the GK Tech steering angle kit. It actually relocates the pickup point where the tie rod touches the front knuckle, and it increases the steering angle quite a bit, all the way to the point where we're actually rubbing on the chassis a little bit, but that's okay, because if you're hitting full lock, then maybe there's something wrong. The GK Tech steering angle kit was $309. This next one I'm really proud of. StopTech is such a great legacy company. They're located in Southern California and they make the best brakes. They were able to send a kit that they actually run on Jonathan Castro's Formula Drift car. So these are their racing series of brakes, and they're just small enough to fit on the 17-inch wheel. But it's a front and rear kit. The fronts are 2-piece rotors, the rear's 1-piece, and they have their StopTech racing pads in it. Surprisingly, they don't squeal or make any noise. This kit is just super premium. I could not have asked for a better partner. This kit in total is $6,200. The next set of parts are something I'm really proud of. I actually reached out to the guys from GR Japan. They actually have a division called TCD, which is Toyota Customization and Development. They make performance parts for the Japanese market, and there are a couple things that they actually sell in the US already, including the short shifter that we have on here. And they're testing out a couple other parts that they potentially will sell here, including this full underbody bracing setup that actually replaces a lot of the stamped metal. You can't actually see most of it because we have the under trays on. It's actually very functional. And honestly, my favorite part is the steering rack brace that makes sure the steering rack does not move at all. This whole kit costs $715 US. So GR Parts in Japan sent 3 other things for us to use on this build, including the door striker kit, which actually makes sure the door does not move at all under hard cornering. That kit fits perfect and it comes out to $165 US. The other thing that they sent was the window visor kit. That's $238. It's very JDM for any car to have that window visor. One really important thing that they sent over was the short shifter kit. That's $418. Last thing I'm gonna touch on is the wheel and tire setup. The wheels are the Motegi Racing MR154 Battles. These are so simple looking, but I love them so much. These are actually the same wheels I run on my 350Z and I kind of fell in love with them. But these are 17x8 and they fit perfect. You can see how flush it is, especially after we put the SPL parts arms on. We're able to really dial that in, and on top of that, it's very functional. These are $1,084 for 4. We have the tires, which are very important as they're the only things that touch the road. I run Yokohama tires on every single one of my cars, and the 8009 Advan Neovas are amazing tires. They're brand new. They just came out with them. I've been running 8008Rs on all of my cars for so many years. For the back, when I'm actually drifting, I was running the Avid series of tires just because it's a lot easier to slide when you're not running really super sticky Neovas. A set of 4 of these will cost you $950. Last but not least, you can see we've buzzed these GK Tech lug nuts on and off many times. These are really nice because they're lightweight and they're really easy to get on and off, especially when you're at a drift track changing tires all day. And of course they're red, so they match the car. They're $37. Last thing, of course, is the OS Geiken Diff. This is the box. Unfortunately, I can't show the diff, but That is so important in terms of putting together a drift car or a performance car. The stock diff is pretty good, but the OS is a 1.5 way and it's actually a more aggressive 1.5. That way I can use it for grip driving and drifting. But that one came out to $1,450. I'm really proud to work with these guys because I actually bought the diff for my 350Z and it's absolutely so much fun to drive. It's so easy to make U-turns on the street. It doesn't make any noise or anything like that, but as soon as you get on it, it locks up perfect. So last but not least, of course, we have to add the price of the car. This is a 2022 base model Toyota GR86, which with no options, you can get it from the dealership at MSRP with no markup, with destination charge for $29,000. In total, that adds up to $78,277. I'm sure there's so many other cars you can buy that are way faster, perform way better, whatever. That's not the point. I just wanted to build this for myself. And I've always been so candid about the fact that I'm a photographer, I'm not a builder. I take pictures for a living, but I also love tinkering on cars. I know my skill level, and while this is an all bolt-on build, this is as much as I feel comfortable with doing. As I build more cars, of course, I'll get crazier. But this is my third SEMA build, and I'm very proud of it, especially the fact that it's going in the Toyota booth. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for a way more in-depth series where I'm just gonna go into every single one of the parts that we actually put on this build.